Welcome to episode 2 of the Cosplay Life, the quest for the White Ranger. Welcome to episode 2 of the Cosplay Life. In this episode, we travel to Wizard World, Wisconsin, the first ever Wizard World, Wisconsin, taking place right here in Madison. It's about 10 minutes that way. So we're going to be doing a White Ranger costume. Jason David Frank is actually one of the judges for this episode. He'll be featured in this episode. The reason I'm doing the White Rangers, like a lot of kids that grew up in the early to mid 90s, Power Rangers was one of the coolest TV shows you could watch. And I remember watching, I would assume probably not from day one, but pretty close to day one because it was the first season. I remember the Power Rangers before Tommy came in, and then after Tommy came in. I loved Tommy like a lot of guys did, a lot of boys did back then. Instantly, you know, kind of gravitated towards Tommy. As cool as Jason was, the character Jason, Tommy, there's just something cool about Tommy Oliver, and especially when he left after like the Green Candle episodes and Rita and all that other fun stuff, and when Zordon brought him back as the White Ranger, that was just like the coolest thing ever. So that is why I chose to do the White Rangers, because it's one of those characters that for most of my childhood, for a large part of my childhood, was like the guy. It was like Tommy Oliver and Hulk Hogan were like the two guys up on this, you know, Mount Rushmore of awesome when I was a 7-year-old kid. So the unfortunately I can't do Hulk Hogan because I'm not that big or leathery, but I can certainly do my best to make a kick-ass White Ranger costume. So let's get to it. Hey guys, so as you can see, the gauntlets were just like a $5 foam cave template. You can get those off at foamcave.com. Actually, the same templates that they used, that Bat and the Sun used in their Superpower Beatdown series for, I'm not sure if the White Ranger used it, but I know the Green Ranger in the Green Ranger versus Ryu episode used those same templates. But the shield, the shoulder piece, the shoulder and chest piece, as you can see, was actually just a template I made myself just through trial and error one Saturday. So I made that out of just a regular EVA foam that you can buy sheets of. Glued everything together, covered that with pleather, and then some 4-way stretch fabric for the gold pieces. The piping I had in there originally was some sort of like a rope fabric that I picked up from, I think, Joann's. Didn't work so well. I wasn't a big fan of it. And it was actually like putting some sort of like weird gold glitter on everything. So I just took some window stripping, covered that in that gold fabric, and put that on there. The helmet is probably my favorite part. The helmet itself was just a kit that you can buy online. You can buy these pretty much anywhere online. Prices range from $80 to $150 depending on who you go through. Mine was right around about $100, but it's just a kit itself. Nothing is done to it, so you have to cut out the visor, you have to paint it, everything like that. It actually wasn't too hard. Maybe it took me about 2 days of work, maybe 3 hours of total work, from the painting, the cutting, everything like that. The visor was actually probably the biggest pain in the butt. Just making sure that you didn't get any bubbles in the visor itself when you're putting the strip, or when you're putting the actual visor material on the plastic. That was probably the biggest pain. But other than that, it was actually super easy. And I'm actually I'm not doing a whole Green Ranger costume this summer, but I'm gonna just make a helmet for display purposes. And one of my buddies is actually wants me to make a helmet for him as well for Green Rangers, because he grew up like me, huge Power Rangers fan. So before we roll the contest footage, I just want to say a couple things about the contest. It was a really well done contest. It wasn't that long at all. I think it was right around like 120 or 130 contestants, which was a lot more than I thought there would be. There were some great costumes, as always. There always are. I love your costume contests. I want to give a shout out to the judges that were there. Jason and Frank and Oki Cosplay was there too. It was a ton of fun being in this contest, and I was glad I took part. So without further ado, here it is.
All right, JDF, this next one's for you. Are you ready? Yeah, ready. Coming up to the stage, give it up for the White Ranger.
made that shield though. You made that shield? I see a lot of White Ranger stuff. So, and the gloves too and everything?
Yeah, everything but the boots and the whole suit.
Yeah, that's good. Like, what'd you make the shield out of?
It's actually just foam covered with leather and gold leather.
Some of y'all wondering, I don't understand, am I talking helmet Paul?
This is how funny you was on there, under a helmet. You might not know when we're filming.
No, it's good. It's good, I like it. Good job.
That's a bold move. How many times do people wear you on the stage? Is that scary to them? I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool though because people do cosplay and it's interesting to see someone who actually makes the stuff. I mean, Aniki's, does all the cosplay stuff and a lot of people, but to see someone make the shield and all that stuff, you can see on the Power Ranger show, my Green Ranger shield wasn't made that well in the first season.
No!
A lot of, yes, I'm sorry to surprise you.
What? You were just that
The wings were like this. Japanese footage one was great, mine was like, anyway. It's a whole different story. We didn't have cosplay back then, right?
Coming up next to the stage.
So I won the judges award, or one of the judges awards for Wizard Road, Wisconsin. An awesome time. As you can see, I got to actually talk to Jason David Frank on stage, to the White Ranger himself. Probably the coolest part about the weekend, though, actually not probably, the coolest part of the weekend was actually after the contest when we were kind of packing everything up and everybody had filed out of the building. Jason David Frank actually was walking out and he came up to us, talked to us for a few minutes, kind of said what he said about, up on stage about the reason he loved my costume so much was the fact that most costumes he sees, Aniki makes them. I know there's a few people floating around in the RPF that make their own shields too, which is really cool. But he always comes across as a really cool guy on his web series, My Morphin Life, and in real life I can say he's the same way. He seems to be super appreciative of his fans, and I can't wait till the next time I talk to him, whether it's going to be in Chicago or what have you, but he's a great guy. I had an awesome time. My cat's jumping on me. I had an awesome time at Wizard World, Wisconsin. They're coming back next April, which is much better than February, so it'll be a lot easier to walk from the car since it's like a half a mile from the car to the convention center. But yeah, so we had a great time with Wizard World, Wisconsin, making the White Ranger. It was one of the coolest costumes I've ever done. I got to talk to one of my childhood idols, which was great. The next episode, we will be Mr. Freeze at the Crown Championships of Cosplay at C2E2. See you there. We travel to Chicago to C2E2, the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, where we will compete in the prestigious Crown Championships of Cosplay as Mr. Freeze.